Hello, my name is Rebecca, and I'm currently an education major at Western Washington University. Today I'm going to show you how to use Excel in Office 365 for education to input a slope and y-intercept equation graph and solve for y, using the formula mx plus b equals y. First, what you're going to do is open 365 for education, or you can also use this exact same way in the Excel app if you already have that, but today I'm going to use Office 365. As you see, I already have it open. You would open it however your school does it, and you're going to view all your apps right here as such. And what I'm going to do is click on Excel, because that's what I'm going to be showing you today. So you're going to click on Excel, and you're going to click on New Blank Workbook. And it's going to load for a second. Yep. And it's going to load and create a new one for me. And it's completely blank. So what I'm going to do after first opening it is click Save and Save As. And save a copy online, because we are online working on this. And I'm going to title it How to Video Example, just to get it saved. And then once it is saved online, the great thing about Office 365 is it automatically saves for you into your online profile. And so what I'm going to start out doing is just jumping right into solving the equation and setting up the graph. And what I'm going to use is the A and B column. And I'm going to, column A is going to be my x-axis, and B is going to be my y-axis. So I'm going to start out by titling them. And what I'm going to do is just highlight it. It should just look white like this, and then you can type just right away and go over to your keyboard, and I'm going to type x-axis. And then to get to this box without having to go and grab your mouse again, I'm just going to click Tab. So you tab to get to the box next to you, next to the one you were currently writing in. And I'm going to type y-axis. And have that done. Now that I have each column titled, and you put it at the top so that Excel knows that it's the title of your column. And so what I'm going to do, just for a note for myself, is write the equation that I'm going to be graphing right over here. And so my equation I'm going to use is 7x plus 3 equals y. And I'm just using it as a note, and so I wrote it out this way instead of the opposite direction, because Excel would like you to do it that way. You read left to right, so does Excel. And I'm using the formula mx plus b to create this graph. So here it is, 7 equals, you can even type in for more notes, 7 equals b, and to get to the column below, you're going to click enter. 7 equals b, no, that's a y. 7 equals m. And then you're going to click enter to get to the box below where you were typing before, and then b equals, and then 3 equals b. And that's just my own little key just to write it down. You don't have to do that, but I mainly just typed out the equation so that I can see it and then have it there right there. You can insert like a text box if you would like. Oops, didn't mean to do that. Text box if you like, and use that as notes. This way I don't need to take an extra step of inserting it. I can delete this later, and it's away from where we are actually working. So I'm just going to leave that right there. And for the x-axis over here, I'm going to use the numbers 0 to 10 and counting by 2s. So all you have to do this is Excel does most of the work for you. You can just click 0, enter 2, enter 4, or you can just click 0 and then enter and then 2, and then you can stop there. You only need 2 numbers to do this, so that way Excel knows what you're counting by, and it will track the pattern on its own, and that's the great smart thing about it. And I'm going to highlight the 2 boxes by clicking in the middle and making sure that it gets highlighted, such as this. And what I'm going to do is put my cursor in the corner and wait for this little X And once the X pops up, you can click it and then drag it down to the number of which you want to get it to. And it's going to keep keeping that pattern and go down to the number you would like. And so for me, it's going to be 10. Now I'm going to input the equation to solve for y. I already had the x-axis numbers preset, but I actually want to solve the equation to get y, so that way my graph isn't at all messed up and all my equations are right. So the great thing about Excel is that it's pretty much a calculator for yourself. So what I'm going to do is go under the y-axis title and the box right next to my first x-axis number, and I'm going to type in equal. So you have to put the equal sign first, so that way Excel knows that you're trying to solve something and it can solve it for you if you type the equal first. So remember how I said the equal needs to have something before and after it, so that way Excel doesn't recognize it as an equation it needs to solve and you won't get any errors or anything like that. So I click the equal sign first and I'm going to type in 7, and then so what it is 7 times x. So you can't type in the letter x to multiply for 7. You have to use a different symbol. If you do the letter x, Excel will think that you're using it as a variable and then not do anything to it. So you have to use the little asterisk star thing to multiply. So 7 times, and to get the x-axis in there, I'm going to highlight and just click on the box right next to it of the first x-axis that should correspond with the y. And clicking on it will highlight it and put the column number in here so that Excel knows to multiply the equation you have here with this number. And as you can see, it says A2. If you already know and very familiar with Excel, you could just type it in if you'd like, or you could just click on it. I clearly just clicked on it, A2, column A, row 2, so hence why it says that. That way it can designate which one you're doing. And then I'm going to go back up here and click it again and add the plus 3. And so all you have to do is click enter to get your answer. And you would think that you need to do that exact same thing every single time, about like 5 more times to get all your numbers, but that's actually not the case. All you really have to do is click on the section B2, and you already have this number here, and highlight the section such as this, and you're going to then find that X again in the corner, and then you're going to drag it down to the number you want it to stop at, and you get the numbers that the Y it calculated for you. As you can see, it calculated the numbers for me, and then to get it not highlighted, I just click anywhere, and it will unhighlight it for you. And as you can see, as you go down the line, instead of typing in the numbers and just calculating it yourself, you can see that it did it for you. So that A4 is there to represent this because Excel recognized that I typed in an equation, clicked the box next to the number that I was trying to equal, and then it recognized that pattern, and I was able to drag it down so that way it did the number before it in column A. So it did that and solved for y. So this is my y-axis. And so what I'm going to do now is input my graph. And I'm just going to click in the middle and then highlight it. I'm not going to click in, if I click and then hold and then wait for this, it can change whatever squares I highlight in the making and then change it all to x-axis, which makes everything valuable, which is just an error Excel uses to say, like, this is not something I can calculate for you, so don't do that. And I'm just going to undo it to not have that happen. And so I'm going to click in the middle to highlight it and then just drag and then highlight it like this. So that way it's all highlighted. And what I'm going to do is go up here and click insert. And over here I have listed all the charts, and then you can see other charts by clicking other charts. If you're on the Excel app, there will be a little box right here that you can click to view all charts. I usually just click that box because in the Excel app it's easier to view what you're trying to do. But for this graph, I'm going to use a line scatter plot graph with the points already in it. So I'm going to click this, scattered, and then already have the lines there and the markers. And then your little graph will pop up. And you just click on the graph to be able to edit it. On Excel app, you will click on it and it'll come up with a little toolbar right here where you can play with all the settings and whatnot and everything as such. For Office 365, you have all those settings up here, but you have to make sure the graph is highlighted. If it's not going to be there, but if you just click on it, it will pop up. So you can title your chart. I'm just going to click none. And you can title your accesses. It could be horizontal, title below the axis. You can title it x-axis if it is called that, or whatever you title it as. Ooh, computer, wake up. Okay. And so, click OK. And see, it pops up right here. And you can do the same with the y-axis. Why did my mouse just go out? Okay, hold on a second. Sorry about that. My mouse went out for a second, which is kind of weird. So you already have your graph. You inserted your graph, and I'm still editing it, and I'm clicking on it. And what I'm going to do next is the great thing about that I like about Excel is that you can actually title your data labels, and it can highlight the points of which it is. And then if you click title above, below, left, center, if you click center like what I did just a second ago, it'll put it literally over the dot. You can't read it that way unless you have a specific color and contrast and you can see the numbers, but I did below. And so here you can see the numbers of which you graphed. You have your x-axis already titled. You can see that it says 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. And then you have your x-axis titled down here and your y points titled right here. So as you can see, finished my graph. I'm able to read it and do everything like that. I showed you how to input data, find and solve an equation, type out an equation. You could do it in many different ways. And made a graph by inserting it and editing it up here. So thank you for watching. I hope this is at all helpful to you. Maybe it's helpful to even insert a graph or insert an equation, anything such as that. And I hope it was helpful. Thank you for watching.